Hello everyone, Rare Model Reviews here. Now I know it's been quite a bit since I've done any videos, let alone an unboxing. But honestly, this is a pretty tough thing for me to even say here, but I'm going to go ahead and say it now. I've come to the conclusion that right now, where I'm at in my life, I can't really commit to, I'd say, making videos full time. I have been doing this for a few years now, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I planned on this channel had taken off, and a lot, dare I say, stronger than it has. And of course, one of the reasons why it hasn't gone where I expect it to go is just simply quality. I've tried to make some efforts to increase the quality of my videos this past year, like I said at this point, but with me having gotten this camera around January and it now being May, and I have yet to put out more than a single review. Again, it's just more than obvious at this point that I can't really say that I can commit to going that route that I wanted to. So I'll still, of course, be doing some unboxings here and there. But as for reviews, unless it's something small like the high grade I did a month or two ago, again, I can't really say that I can commit to making videos. As I can make videos, but again, they're not going to be to the quality or standard that I say I have put out in the past. There was a point in time where I got my video editing software and I felt like the quality is improving, but the only thing that really I feel was holding the channel back would be the quality of the actual videos and stuff, as in, like, the images. I was using my smartphone for these past 2 years. I finally upgraded to the camera, but unfortunately getting a editing software that I can edit these videos with is becoming a bit of a challenge, as I don't have an actual desktop PC. I'm using this old laptop that I've had literally for 10 years, and that's been a piece of crap since day one. So I have a video software on that laptop I got. It was actually even free to boot. However, this thing is saying that my laptop is not the right hardware to run that video editing, and it risks crashing and whatnot. And even though the PC is a piece of crap, I kind of would like for it to not end up breaking because this video software destroyed it or whatever. At some point in time, I will end up fiddling around with and seeing, if it really does crash, or what can I do with it. And who knows, maybe I'll surprise you guys with saying, hey, it worked. I'm going to start doing more videos now and whatnot. But until then, I really have to just put my head down and focus on my actual job, or rather career. I could say that much about my work situation, but if I'm able to save up enough to get a better computer so I can actually edit videos that way and whatnot, that's when I'll come back with an announcement, stating such. But as of now, again, expect a lot more unboxings when I have the time to do so. But as for actual reviews, that's a little sketchy at best. So, oh, that was a long one, huh? So let's go ahead and get into this unboxing. This should actually be a pretty decent one too. Yeesh. A lot of the stuff I'll spoil right now are only high grades. However, there are a lot in here. And this is actually a very interesting way that they laid this out. It's like they know I was going to unbox this or something. But first one up is going to be the Leo Flight Unit Type. So, again, I'm American. And America has always been heavily associated with Gundam Wing when it comes to, well, anime and Gundam. So naturally, I see a Leo, I'm going to buy it, and that was the case here. So this, of course, is premium Bandai. Everything in here is premium Bandai. I can confirm that right now. And I'll say right now, this is literally just the standard high grade Leo they released a couple years ago or so, but with the stuff that turns into the flight unit here. So I imagine a lot of the accessories with it are going to be things that you've seen in that high grade. First and foremost, it has this blue color scheme that I believe all the flight unit Leos had. Two high grade beam sabers. These are the OG ones. They have a 2005 date on it. And one thing about the Leos are they have that kind of 30-minute missions design with it, where this thing is basically made to be built in 30 minutes. So very few runners here. There's about what, maybe 4 bags here, but from all the people I've heard talk about the standard Leo, they designed that thing literally for you to buy like a dozen Leos or so and then build them all 30 minutes a piece. That way you can have an army of Leos fighting against your Gundam. So we will see just how fast I can build this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Technically like 7 runners here. Mind the fact that these two are like what, 2, 3, and 4 pieces a pop. But going ahead to the build here again. I've never built the high grade Leo itself, so this is going to be a completely fresh experience for me. One thing that always tickled me is the fact that since the Leo is basically a mass-produced version of Talkies, it shares a lot of the design aspects of it. It just overall looks like the Talkies, but with a few things omitted from it. And then, of course, just looking at this, it's just like 3 pages and you're already done with the Leo itself. And then the rest here are dedicated to the flight unit. So we have I can't tell if those are like boosters or rockets or what. I actually meant to go and rewatch Gundam Wing, as it's been forever since I've seen Gundam Wing. I barely remember anything from it. But the standard stuff, you know, Duel getting the Death Strife destroyed and you're like, no, you know, all that. But it looks like this thing has, I'm pretty sure all the Leos had the Dober gun, but there's I think that was the machine gun I seen earlier, the bazooka, you have the shield, the beam sabers. And again, this is just how long ago it's been since I've watched Gundam Wing. I can't remember if the Leos ever usually had shields. I know they had their little rifles, but I do not remember them having shields. I don't remember seeing a Leo ever take out a beam saber. But that is going to be it for this first one here. So we're going to close that up, throw that to the side, pull the box back out. I guess we'll go with this one here. Alright, so bit of a change of pace. You already seen it from the side there. This is going to be the Gundam Atlas, or is it Atlas Gundam? And this is going to be from Thunderbolt Bandit Flower. So the reason why this is a P Bandai is because, as you see here, the Bandit Flower version, they released a Atlas some time ago. However, they made a P Bandai version, which makes it look like how it did in the Bandit Flower movie. So basically, it changes a few things about it, if not just the color scheme. But overall, it's going to be that same high-grade Atlas from eons ago. Now, one thing that always bothered me about Thunderbolt, and I'm going to rant about it here while I struggle to open this box up, is the fact that they never did another movie. Like, the way the movie ended was like on a cliffhanger, and it's like, I literally had to research and find out apparently apparently Thunderbolt is an ongoing manga, so I'm guessing that's why we haven't got another movie yet. They're still waiting for the manga to finish so they don't have a Tokyo Ghoul incident. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with that anime, but long story short, water slide decals here, of course, P Bandai. That show was made while the manga was still ongoing, and as a result, when they pretty much caught up to the manga, they decided to improvise and do things themselves, you know, anticipating where the plot should go and whatnot, and that show went over like a fart in church as a result of them taking liberties with the plot. So I can definitely respect Bandai for leaving us on a 5-year plus cliffhanger on that and waiting for the manga to finish so then they could actually finish the series. I'm assuming they're going to finish it. I didn't see anything that even referenced there being another movie, but I hope there is. Literally, I'm ready to go read the manga myself so I can see what happens next. So we also have, these look like master grade beam sabers. These are huge. They have a 2006 date, so I'm pretty sure these are master grade beam sabers. So I don't know if that's going to be for the Gundam to hold itself or if there's like a special weapon this thing has, because I don't know why in the world those beam sabers are so long. But this thing has Looks like 4 bags of runners. There's 2 or 3 a pop for most of these. So I'm going to go ahead on a limb here and say this thing isn't going to be as hard to build as a master grade, but it's going to be a little bit more in depth than a high grade. So we have these images here in the back. I'm pretty sure this is just for the where to put the water slide decals. Yeah, because this thing has quite a few runners, so this looks like at least a dozen. And they're decent size, and like that Leo. So, getting on into it here. Okay, I've never built anything from the Thunderbolt series, let alone an Atlas itself. But this thing looks like it won't be tricky at all to build. It kind of reminds me of the Narrative Gundam, the way this thing looks for the most part. But yeah. The Atlas is always a very interesting looking mobile suit to me, because besides the fact that it's basically a aquatic Gundam, which is like a first, it's got that unit that we're actually looking at, ironically, being built before us, which is probably the most complicated thing of the kit, I imagine. Although looking at this thing builds in like maybe 2-3 pages, perhaps not. So yeah, this thing looks like it has the beam sabers in its hands. Why are they so big though? I guess they made a master grade size the beam sabers because the unit here it has. So they wanted it to, I don't know, match up in scale, but who knows? Maybe this thing isn't as intimidating as I thought. Because as you've seen, I ran through this manual pretty fast. My rant about Thunderbolt was longer than me unboxing this thing. So, oh boy. There we go. So, that is done. On to the next one. I don't think I don't think I picked it up on camera, but if I did, you might have already spoiled what the next thing is. But nonetheless, I'm going to go do this one because that last one is on the bottom, and I think, yeah, that's literally the last one anyway. I thought I had more things in this box. Okay, so this is actually about 4 things I have in here, but moving on. 12 minutes in, we are at the Leo space type. So again, both these things were released on P Bandai at once. I want to say I ordered these things around the time the Gundam Wing anniversary is going on, which, I mean, it doesn't have to be the month for it to be the anniversary. It's just the anniversary of Gundam Wing in general. What is it, 45th anniversary? Or is it 35th? Moving on. So, the space type is going to be in purple. It's got a little bit of navy blue. And of course black for the weapons here, not gunmetal. We're going to call this color here. So same as the Leo. You see that high grade beam saber there. Didn't mention this earlier, but there's like clear orange pieces for the Mono, so very cool. Some purples. So this thing looks like it's going to be even faster to build than a flight type. This thing only had 2 bags. And I'm like struggling to understand what I'm doing with these runners. I just took 2 bags out of them. Now I'm finished. So we get straight on into the menu here, of course. Nothing really to write home about. There's a total of, what is that, 7 runners if you want to count like the accessory type runners and stuff, you know, the polycaps and beam sabers. So look at the flight type, going to space type. All of this should look very familiar. Nothing really much to say here. All builds very fast. Just look at that arm construction. That thing looks like it's done in like 2 steps. Legs, again, all super easy. I am currently building the Gundam Sandrock. I feel like I said that recently, but regardless. Just going from the Master Grade Sandrock to this thing, this is nothing. It took me longer than I want to admit to how long I was building those legs, but looking at this thing, the legs look like they're going to be nothing to build here. So this thing has a lot of accessories, more than I expected. So this thing has some sort of handgun. It's got that same, I'm pretty sure it's like a beam machine gun. Like this thing's got a bunch of weapons here. This is a ridiculous amount. Oh, looks like you could mount the shield onto the backpack, if I'm not mistaken there. So we have, what is this? The short beam rifle, the long beam rifle, the beam cannon they have here, the 105mm rifle, So I don't know if that means this thing fires physical rounds or what. Usually when it's like millimeters, they're talking about physical rounds. So that is crazy how many weapons this thing has. So that's one of the biggest reasons to get the space type if you can't justify buying the flight type. Just the amount of accessories this thing has, I haven't even built it or reviewed it yet, and I can already say that that's going to be a big selling point to this thing. I can't remember the prices for these things, but at least the Leos, I know the Leos are pretty affordable. I'm pretty sure the Atlas, however, is like at least 20-30 bucks. So that might be a little expensive for a high grade, but last and not least, last and least, let's be honest here, we have from Gundam Seed Freedom the Black Knight Squadron set. So this is going to be for Red Alert, Daniel, and Leo, which I'm pretty sure are the last three of the Ultimate Coordinators. I guess that's what you want to call them. And I find this very interesting, by the way. This is how you know Bandai is kind of a bit of scumbags when it comes to this stuff. The fact that this isn't in a monochromatic box set seems to scream. These was going to be a standard release, and at the last minute said, nah, P Bandai. If this thing isn't sold in the stores, why is it a normal box set? Like, the way the box art looks. Like, I understand why they did it. You know, just make one guy a standard release and do everything else, you know, P Bandai. It makes sense, but still, I don't see the harm in them having had just put this as a normal release. But moving on along here, we of course have the whole Black Knight Squadron info thingy here. I don't know how else to describe that. It's like a long one too. Geez, what the heck? It's like across the entire box. So I'm gonna try to briefly put that on here so you guys can read that, pause as needed to get what they're saying here. I'm not really looking at it. I'm just trying to make sure it's as clear as possible. Honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and say it here. The girl right here, what's her name? Red Alert. I feel like they should have made hers a standalone, as the rest of the guys I feel like weren't as interesting. Like this guy here, Daniel, I don't remember him talking. And then Liu here, I don't remember him at all. Like, I only remember the green haired guy who got the standard release. Because he's the one who was talking the most crap to Shin. And if I'm not mistaken, Shin was the one who beat him, so deserved. But the pink, actually here it's orange, wasn't it? The girl, I'm just gonna say the girl. I remember her just kind of being annoying and obnoxious and very hard to forget. And I was very happy when she died. Who was it who killed her? I think it was Hilda that killed her, right? She was the one who killed her squad mates or whatever. Or at least mocked her about killing them. Oh, geez. I love the way they have this set up. So now I gotta try to make sure to keep these organized when I put them back. But, okay. I can't tell what engine is up here. So it's been a minute since I've unboxed, if not like a whole year, since I've boxed the first Arutaro. I think these things are called, right? Aruteros. So, very nice color separation. And I love the colors in general for these things. So we got some blacks here. Some grays for various parts. I almost want to say inner frame. Definitely want to say inner frame for this. This thing looks like it's made out of ABS. It's like got this. This is a gunmetal color. I almost wanted to call it the black before gunmetal, but that's gunmetal. We now have some of the blues here. It looks like a beam saber effect part. I don't know if it was from the other side. If it was, I didn't notice it. But again, just love the colors there. And this is very interesting. So there's definitely a mix of parts here because this one looks like it's dedicated to one of the Ruteros. Whereas over here, these two look like the mix of the last two. As these are very familiar parts, the beam effects, the shield parts that I just looked at like 3 times now. And then we have some more parts here for who knows what. I just know these are black. So I'm going to assume these things are mixed up a bit because I don't see another one of these here. So this has to be a mix for all 3 of their inner frames or whatever you want to call that. And I'm going to assume these black parts are for both of these, whereas there's probably only one set for that. And then, of course, you have 3 of their beam cape effect parts here buried on the bottom. So I'm gonna keep those there. Pull these out. And I'm gonna put everything back in. Basically the way I pull them out is some sort of attempt at keeping things organized as possible for when I build this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and confirm it. Although I've built the majority of my Gundam Seed Freedom kits I've gotten thus far, I think the only ones I haven't built were the Rising. Not the Rising, I'm sorry, the Mortal Justice. I haven't built the Mortal Justice. The Mighty Strike Freedom, I haven't built that one, surprisingly. And then the two Black Knight stuffs, and then the Gyan, I haven't built those. Everything else. Oh, this is very, very interesting. I should have seen this coming. Yes, this guy, I haven't built his yet. I meant to, but I'm going to build his, like, as soon as I'm done with the Sandrock now, because I have 3 of these things. I got to try to stagger their builds to get these done, but Griffin, that was his name. Yeah, so I shouldn't be surprised about that. They have Griffin's manual here, and then they have everyone else's here for who knows what reason. This is just like some sort of color guide here in the back, it looks like. But this is just showing the parts manifest. So it's telling you here that you're able to build all of their kits here. Who's that? Huh? I seen something about avoid assembly errors. Please assemble each separately. Interesting. So I'm not sure what the point of this is. I'd have to really look at this and see. But it says, okay, please note the 8 parts of stickers that are included in the menu for the Root Griffin Arbalest Custom is not included in this. This product edition includes 8 parts for the Daniel, Liu, and Red Alert Custom. The colors of the included parts and stickers are different, but assembly steps are the same as the standard. So I'm guessing they're basically trying to say, build them one by one, you know, just like this menu here says. But just make sure these very important things that they outlined are, you know, separated from each other. So if you're going to build Red Alarts, make sure you have this one separate from those ones, build it. Same for this one, for Daniels. Get this one by itself, build it. Then you finally start finish off with Liu's. You know, then they have enough for you to build all of them, because it's 3 times each for all of these. So, okay, very interesting. But I am not surprised to just give you another Daniel manual to build these things. So, can't wait to build these things, get the entire squad. Already got my Luna Maria's Gelgook right here waiting for him. So, this is a matter of me finally committing to building the rest of the Seed Freedom stuff I have. I guess I have to get that I forget what the leader's Gundam was called, you know, the white and gold one. But I have to eventually get that, guys, as well. I'm trying to think. I remember Izak and Diarca helping him, but he didn't really. Him and Mu, they didn't kill any of them, did they? They just kind of were there, weren't they? But regardless, I haven't gotten those guys or stuff either. I need to get the Z-Gog. I held off on that one, but I need to get it. I want the Z-Gog. Thing's cool. But me getting off on the tangent side again, this is everything I have here in this unboxing. So I don't really know what to say here, but thank you guys so much for watching. I'm like conflicted on which one I want to build. I want to build the flight type just because it looks like it has less accessories, but at the same time I want to build the space type because the box looks a little smaller too, if you guys can't make that out. It's a little smaller, yet this thing has way more accessories. So that kind of makes me want to build this thing. I feel like it'll be a little bit quicker. And again, it's got a lot of accessories, so that's very tempting. But yeah, again, I'm going to try to stagger building these things as much as possible. So I don't build them to the point that I'm tired of building them, like kind of my Avas and the unicorn stuff. So even that real grade built basically like that Master Grade, so I didn't make that thing very exciting to build. But yeah, again, I'm rambling. Let's end this thing around the 25-minute mark. So again, thank you guys all so much for watching. If you haven't already, please feel free to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time for more Let's Face It unboxings. Take care.